All right, guys, and we're live for our weekly live stream. We got Mitt back in the mix too, myself, PV, Jeff, and featuring the youngest member of Foundation Capital, Weston.
Hey,
yeah, lots of exciting things, guys. I feel like long time no see.
Oh, for sure. I'll do my best on this. So appreciate get your RESPs in even at a young age into managing capital, private trust. Well, we did get to see each other in person yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
We met in Kitchener, a neutral spot, me being in London, you guys being more in Toronto. Drive down the highway, 1 hour each.
Yeah.
And we're talking all about our development yesterday.
Yeah. Except me and Mitt seem to be cursed whenever we have our development lawyer, Michael, in the mix. The 1 hour commute somehow becomes 2 to 3, but we got it done anyways. Yeah, I think that was a really productive meeting. We hit the nail on the head for a lot of the things on the development fund side and how we want to progress. And as we've been teasing in our presentations here, is good for 250 units for the build, but we are actively working with the city to get 350 units, potentially even more. So discussed a lot of the intricacies behind that and the plan forward to discuss that with the city and also get that approval. So that was kind of cool. What were some of the other takeaways for you guys from the meeting yesterday?
Just, 250 is our 24% return, targeted return there. That's what everyone has to memorize. We're allowed to build 250 apartments, and that's going to hit our 24%. Anything above that is going to be all gravy for the investor. Well, 24% is gravy for the investor. So pretty excited about sorting that out and going over that. And there's not too many spots left for people to get in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think some of the interesting parts as well is this, as we go through more intricacies on the actual execution of the development, is we've obviously locked up that extra piece of land. I think you guys probably talked about that in one of the other calls.
I think we've been keeping that a little secret, but maybe we'll drop the ball on this video.
And then if you also count some of the conversations we've been having with the underlying builders who are going to be doing some of the superstructure and stuff like that, just firming up that timing. That was pretty good information, especially now that it seems like we're going to be able to build faster than expected and be able to do more of these. And then the life and form of that was just, I guess, exciting to talk through and see what that mix looks like. And then, as we go back to, hey, let's take this back and see, hopefully we can fight the city and we'll get to maximize the return. Lo and behold, there's an approval yesterday for a 31-story tower when the staff only recommended 18. So that's pretty exciting because, again, as you guys know, we are aiming for basically 25 stories. And, we were going to try to apply in for a little bit higher, even though the reality is we're going to probably do less than that. So, hey, the higher densities that they're approving and pushing for are going to allow us to generate even higher returns for our investors. So that's pretty exciting and good to see that the city's on board with that.
Yeah, the precedent kind of set that we can point at right there kind of just showed up yesterday. So yeah, it's nice that all our plans are coming together and there's track record already out there ahead of us. So
I found it interesting, some of those conversations we were having with the method of construction for particular things. And as Mitt mentioned, you can go with one particular construction method, which is going to be the fastest. There might be another one that might be cheaper, but then there's also one, if you go a particular method, this leaves less room for error and less surprises to come up. So a lot of things to consider before making a final decision. And we're lucky we're working with very experienced partners to guide us through those processes.
Think about this, guys. We're the only development fund in London, Ontario, to the best of my knowledge. All the other towers are private. If you personally want to invest in London, Ontario towers, we're the only development fund.
Rental towers, because everybody else is typically condo for resale. And right now we know that condo market is kind of dead. I think another piece, I guess I forgot to mention that we got to take away is like all our numbers are based on today's rents and today's pricing versus we know that rent, especially for the workforce housing and the affordable area that we're targeting, is going to continue to increase by at least inflation. So we're going to see probably a very sizable lift on exit and resale. And I guess, as you were saying, Jeff, one of the exits yesterday is obviously the main exit is selling it to our REIT, and that's obviously what we want. But as for our investors, we will be going to the general public. And right now, there's nobody who's building inventory for rental housing and selling it to the public. So we know even our other peers in the industry will want to look to acquire our asset. And that's going to end up being lucrative for our investors across the board.
I guess by the same breath that our opportunity is attractive because there's such a shortage in workforce housing, there's a shortage in workforce housing inventory too for other funds to purchase. So as a result, buyers are going to look to purchase an asset like this, and I think it can command a great price, thus bringing in a good return for our investors.
And I guess I'll use it as a segue is obviously this is our development piece. So if you guys are interested in our newsletters, we're sending out those webinars to sign up. We have one this Saturday at 4 p.m. Get signed up, 4 to 5. We're going to be covering it. We'll go into even more intricacies of questions that you guys might have. So make sure you sign up for that. But that's not all we're doing. Another great piece of yesterday's meeting is obviously the same team is kind of involved with the densification and reintensification of our existing assets in our portfolio. If you guys know, we took 57 Oliver. We took that from 12 units to 14. We're working on that to go to about 24. That's already been submitted and working through with the city on there. We've got a couple of other stuff in Chatham and the rest of the portfolio that's happening. Again, addressing that workforce housing, that affordable rent piece. So very excited. I know I'll pass it off to PV, but we are going to be doing individual investor check-ins, kind of going through that piece and, generating and forcing that appreciation and return for investors.
Yeah, thanks, Mitt. I think something we are going to be implementing over the next few weeks is investor check-ins. We have over 300 investors in the fund who trust us and have enjoyed the returns Foundation Capital has been generating. But oftentimes outside of our investor socials that we do either annually or a couple times a year, we want the opportunity to connect with you guys, check in, see how you've enjoyed your Foundation Capital experience, also walk you through some of the numbers, give you kind of a summary of our recent performance, and use it as an opportunity to hear from you, any questions you may have, any things you want to know about the strategies we're implementing, and just you have the opportunity to speak with one of the trustees and answer any questions that you may have. I might even go as far as saying AMA here. So keep an eye out for that. We're looking forward to connecting with you guys individually.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be great for everyone to ask any of the kind of questions that they have. I know we're also pretty excited with what's kind of going on in the market or lack of in the market, where there's not a lot of buyers at the moment for apartment buildings, is because they can't make it work. But with our strategy of doing the value add, it's definitely something where we can take some of these lower paying tenant properties that sellers are trying to exit, create value, and refinance for investors. So we're assessing a bunch of opportunities in the market. If you joined our REIT webinar last weekend or earlier this week as well, we were covering all the stuff that we're doing in the REIT to take advantage of the market and buy these opportunities. If you want to be a beneficiary of all the work that we're doing, top up your investment in the REIT, get invested in the REIT. There's probably a link in the bio here for you to do that.
Probably. And remember, if you are an existing investor, we are asking for some testimonials. So feel free to send that to us at investor.relations@foundationcapital.ca or DM us on Instagram. You can find us all on Instagram. So looking for those for PV's marketing.
Yeah, for marketing, we're also revamping the website. So it would be nice to have those on our website as well.
And you know what? We're doing all this despite all the wars and craziness that's going on in the world. You saw stock markets go up, down, crypto go up, down, all over the place. We're just chugging along.
As the world goes into turmoil, Canada's once again safe haven. More refugees will be coming. It's hard to buy a house. We have the apartments. If you want to invest in apartments, come with us.
So what's funny? I saw a bunch of activity on X where there's like, oh my God, $100 million announced in scholarships for Indian students, right?
Yeah. So
You got a bunch of Canadians being like, this is bullshit. This is messed up. What about here? They're charging more in Canada. I'm like, you do realize international students pay 3 to 5 times the tuition. So if a Canadian that's born here is paying $8,000, international students pay about $40,000 a year. That's a large revenue driver. So, we've obviously had a lot of political turmoil in this country, and you've got people who are like, we need to hold off on immigration. But what they didn't realize was immigration has been floating a lot of our economy as well from the fees that the province and the federal government were able to generate from tuition. So, with that announcement and with, I guess, Mark Carty in India, they're probably going to be looking to reopen immigration and student visas soon. So that's, again, positive for our area of rental housing and multifamily.
Well, that's why I'm so confident on the development, because we're right on the bus rapid transit route, which is what the city and the federal government is pushing for. You get your apartment and you go straight to university or the college, Fanshawe College or UWO. So.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess just to add on to that, we're already in a housing shortage for core workforce housing. If we turn on immigration again, that's just further going to increase the demand. Supply's not keeping up, prices go up. So spelling it out there in layman's math for some of our viewers.
Nice.
Perfect. All right, guys, I think we'll wrap it up here. Again, guys, as always, if you're interested in investing in Foundation Capital Private Real Estate Trust, make sure to reach out to us. Additionally, the development fund, we are getting closer to filling those spots up. So be in touch, get your spot locked up. 20% due March 15th, 100K minimum investment, only open to accredited investors or existing Foundation Capital investors. Weston seems excited about that.
Like and subscribe, he says.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
All right, ciao. Bye.